Hey, and welcome back to our walk through the book of Philippians. We've been going one day, one verse at a time, and now, we're almost through the first chapter. We're getting to the last section, and that section begins with verse 27. Just one thing, live your life in a manner worthy of the gospel of Christ. Then, whether I come and see you or am absent, I will hear about you, that you are standing firm in one spirit, with one mind, working side by side for the faith that comes from the gospel. And so it might be good to remember again where we've come. We've come from the last two sections of Paul talking about him in prison. And both in prison, he's confident and he's watching the gospel continuing to spread. And he's confident in whatever falls upon his life, be it life or death. But ultimately, he wants to live so that his work for the gospel can reach them. Now watch this wonderful twist, how he kind of says how the gospel can, from them, reach him. That is, he says, live this life worthy, working side by side in the faith that comes from the gospel. And in all of that, what he's doing is he's showing, or he's talking about, he's inviting the Philippians into doing ministry as well. That if they're hearing that Paul's imprisonment is not stopping the gospel, and if they're hearing that Paul's boldly willing to live or die but wants to live for them, now he's calling them to live into this kind of faith as well. And what I love about it most is it says, you don't have to wait for me. Paul tells them they don't have to wait for the gospel's work to be about and among them. In churches, sometimes we think we need the right pastor or the right leader. We just need somebody who's going to come and really, take our church by the horns, vote the right church president or whatever else. It's not that. Every time we sit there and think we need the right person, the word is you have the right person. You have Jesus Christ. And he's more than a motivator. He is the very source of the freedom and the victory that Paul has seen for himself in prison, that Paul has seen for his ministry in prison. And so now the word comes to us. The word comes to us like it went to that church in Philippi. What's holding you back? You don't have to wait for Paul or the right pastor or the right person to come and motivate you or teach you all things. You need the faith which comes from the gospel. And so every moment we feel lacking, we would know exactly where to look, because Jesus is our all in all. And Jesus is our source, Jesus is our life, and he is the only leader that the church needs to spread. And thus he says to the people, live your life in a manner worthy of the gospel of Christ. Live into that gospel, working side by side for the faith that comes from the gospel. So just in case you don't know where to look, now you do. Amen.